Your Majesty, what is it? That child must die. She is the forbidden daughter.
No! Long before motor cars, electricity, and tall buildings, there was a prosperous Igbo village called Umu Aaja. The people of Umu Aaja were known throughout the surrounding villages for three things: their yam harvest, their warriors, and their sacred covenant with Allah, the earth goddess. At the heart of the village stood an enormous ancient Iroko tree. Nobody knew how old it was. The roots were so large that 3 grown men could stand inside the space between them. The elders call it Ajanri, the tree of judgment. No child was allowed near it, no woman was allowed to touch it, and nobody was permitted to cut even a single branch. The elders believed that the tree guarded the village's greatest secret. Every year during the New Yam Festival, the villagers gathered before the tree to offer prayers and sacrifices.
People of Umu-Aja, remember our covenant. We may take from the earth what we need, but we must never take what belongs to the spirit.
For generations, Umu-Aja had prospered until one night. A night the moon disappeared behind black clouds. A night when the village dogs refused to bark. And inside a small hut in the edge of the village, a woman named Nneka was screaming. Nneka was the second wife of Eze Obina, the respected ruler of Umu-Aja. She had been married to the king for 7 years, but she had never given birth. The king's first wife, Ada Eze, had 3 sons and a daughter. Because of this, many people whispered that Nneka's womb had been cursed. But that night, everything changed. As thunder shook the sky, Nneka gave birth, a baby girl. The moment the baby cried, every flame in the village went out, every single one. Then the sacred Iroko tree began to shake. Its branches moved violently despite the fact that there was no wind. The village elders ran toward the tree, and then they heard something that terrified them. A woman's voice came from inside the darkness.
Then what?
She has returned.
Impossible.
The daughter has returned.
Then the voice spoke again. The daughter must never know who she is. Inside the hut, Nneka stared at her newborn daughter, and she saw something strange, a small crescent-shaped mark on the baby's chest. Nneka's eyes widened. She knew that mark. Her grandmother had told her stories about it when she was a child. The mark belonged to the daughters of Ajanri, women believed to be born with the spirit of the ancient guardian of Umu-Aja. According to legend, the last daughter had been born more than 100 years earlier, and her existence had nearly destroyed the village. Nneka immediately wrapped the baby in cloth. Then the king entered. He looked at the child. For the first time in 7 years, tears filled his eyes. "My daughter," he whispered. But before he could touch her, the oldest elder Okeke, entered. He looked at the baby. His face changed.
Your Majesty, what is it? That child must die. She is the forbidden daughter.
No! The elders gathered secretly that same night. They told the king an ancient story.
Many generations ago, a woman named Mbeke was born beneath Ajanri. Then, you want you to kingdom returned. You want me to kill an innocent child because of an old story?
She possessed a strange spiritual gift. She could hear the voice of dead. She could see things before they happened. And most frequently, she could expose the lies of kings. When Mbeke discovered that the king of that time had secretly murdered his own brother to take the throne, she revealed the truth to the entire village. The king ordered her death. But before she died, Mbeke placed a curse upon the royal bloodline. she declared,
"One day, my daughter will return through the womb of the woman who cannot have children."
When she returned, every hidden sin shall come to light. The king's face became pale. "So you are saying this child will destroy my kingdom?" Elder Okeke shook his head. "No." So he made a terrible decision. He ordered everyone to believe that the child had died during childbirth. Then he secretly gave the baby to Nneka's elderly mother, Mama Ugochi, who lived behind the village, raised her far from Umu Aaja, the king commanded. "Let nobody know she exists," Nneka cried. "What will you call her?" The king looked at the baby and whispered, "Amara." 20 years passed. Amara grew into a beautiful young woman. She lived quietly with Mama Ugochi. She knew nothing about her royal blood, but she knew she was different. Whenever she entered the forest, she could hear whispers. Sometimes the trees spoke. Sometimes she heard voices belonging to people who were not there.
Amara,
Who is there?
come home.
Home? Where is home?
Mama Ugochi always told her, "Do not go near Umu Aaja." Amara asked, "Why?" Her grandmother always gave the same answer, "Because some places remember things people have forgotten." But Amara was curious, and curiosity would eventually lead her home. One year, a terrible drought struck the surrounding villages. The rivers dried, the crops died, children became sick, but Umu Aaja suffered the worst. The elders consulted the oracle. The oracle gave them a terrifying message. The daughter has returned. The king, now an old man, immediately remembered the child he had abandoned. His heart sank. The elders searched everywhere, but they didn't know where Amara lived. Then one afternoon, Amara walked into Umu Aaja. She had come to sell baskets made by her grandmother. The moment she entered the village, the sacred Iroko tree began to shake. Everyone stopped. Amara looked at it, and suddenly she heard a voice, "My daughter." She dropped her basket. People screamed. The king came running. The moment he saw Amara, he knew. He knew without anyone telling him. The shape of her eyes, the crescent mark visible beneath her blouse, the strange feeling in his heart. She was his daughter, the child he had been told to forget. But there was someone who was not happy to see Amara, Queen Adaeze, the king's first wife. She had spent 20 years believing that her family would inherit the throne. Her eldest son, Prince Chukwudi, was next in line. But Amara returns threatened everything. Adaeze secretly summoned Elder Okeke. She must disappear. The elder hesitated. "She is the king's blood." The queen stared at him. "Then make her disappear, look like the will of the spirit." Together they created a plan. They would accuse Amara of causing the drought. They would convince the villagers that she had returned to destroy Umu Aaja, and they would sacrifice her during the upcoming New Yam festival. But there was one problem. Amara had begun remembering her dreams, and the dreams were showing her the truth. One night, Amara entered the royal palace. She didn't know why. Something was pulling her towards an abandoned chamber beneath the palace. There she discovered an old wooden chest. Inside were letters. One letter was written by her mother, another was written by the king, and the final letter was written 20 years earlier. Amara read it. Her hands began trembling. The letter revealed everything. She was the king's daughter. But that wasn't the biggest secret. The letter revealed that Nneka had not been unable to have children. She had secretly been prevented from having children by Queen Adaeze. The queen had given her a concussion that made pregnancy nearly impossible. Why? Because Adaeze feared that Nneka would give birth to a child who could challenge her own children's position. But there was another revelation. The drought was caused by Amara. It was caused by the royal family. 20 years earlier, Adaeze and Eda Okeke had secretly cut a sacred root from the Iroko tree. They sold the sacred wood to traders from another kingdom. They had broken the covenant with Allah, and now the king was demanding payment. Amara confronted the king. Why did you abandon me? The king could barely look at her. I was afraid. Of me? No. He finally looked into her eyes. Of what they told you would become. Amara cried. You choose the kingdom over your own child? The king lowered his head. I was wrong. Then Amara asked, did my mother know? The king nodded. She begged me to keep you. Where is she? The king's silence answered the question. Amara's mother had died years earlier. She had spent her final days believing that her daughter was alive somewhere in the world. Amara collapsed. For the first time, the king healed his daughter and cried. The next day, Queen Adaeze announced before the entire village, Amara is the cause of our suffering. The villagers surrounded her. She was taken to the sacred grove. Her hands were tied. The priest raised his knife. Then suddenly, Amara laughed. Everyone stared. The prince asked, why are you laughing? She looked towards Elder Okeke because the dead have finally decided to speak. The wind stopped. The sacred Iroko tree began glowing. Then the voices of the ancestors filled with the forest. One by one, the secrets of the village elders were revealed. Murders, betrayers, stolen land, broken oaths, and finally, Queen Adaeze's crime. The villagers turned towards her. The queen screamed, she is lying. Then a voice came from the Iroko tree. Let the guilty touch the tree. Adaeze refused. Eda Okeke refused. But Amara stepped forward. She placed her palm against the tree. Nothing happened. The tree remained peaceful. Then the king stepped forward. He placed his hand beside us. Still nothing. Finally, Eda Okeke was forced towards the tree. The moment his hand touched it, the tree cracked. A deep red liquor began flowing from its back. The villagers screamed. The ground shook and Eda Okeke fell dead. Adaeze ran and Amara followed her. They reached the edge of the river. The queen turned. You think you have won? Amara stared at her. Why did you hate me? Adaeze laughed bitterly. Because I knew the truth. What truth? The queen's eyes filled with tears. You were not supposed to be born. Amara froze. Adaeze continued. Your mother was pregnant before she married the king. Amara's face changed. What? The queen smiled. The king was not your father. The word seems to stop. Amara turned towards the palace. The king stood in the distance. He had heard everything. The king commanded the truth. Adaeze finally confessed. 24 years earlier, Nneka had fallen in love with a mysterious traveler who had come to Umu-Aaja, a man who disappeared after one night. Nneka later married the king, but the child she carried was not the king's. The traveler had been Mbeke's descendant. The bloodline of the forbidden daughter. Amara wasn't the king's biological daughter. She was something much more important. She was the last living descendant of the woman who had cursed Umu-Aaja. And that meant the ancient prophecy had been misunderstood. Amara had not returned to destroy Umu-Aaja. She had returned to save it. Amara returned to the sacred tree. The king followed her. Will you leave us? Amara looked at the village. No. Why? She looked towards the dying farm. Because punishment is easy. She touched the earth. Restoration is harder. Amara asked the villagers to rebuild the sacred grove. They returned the stolen wood. They repaired the shrine. They apologized to the river. And they restored the covenants their ancestors had broken. Slowly, the rain returned. The rivers filled. The yams grew again, and Umu-Aaja became prosperous. But Amara refused the throne. Instead, she became the keeper of Ajanri. Every year, children were brought to her. She taught them the greatest lesson she had learnt. A secret buried for too long does not die. It waits. Years later, when Amara was old, a young girl approached her. The girl had the same crescent-shaped mark on her chest. Amara smiled. "Who are you?" The girl replied, "My mother said I should find the woman who hears the trees." Amara's smiles disappeared. She looked towards the ancient Iroko. Its leaves began moving, and from deep inside the forest came the voice she had heard as a child. The story is not finished. Amara stood. She looked at the girl, who then whispered, "No," she smiled. "It has only begun."